some animatable artwork from a picture. So I'm going to place my artwork, and that one is on my drive, and I'm going to use this one, and let me just scale it up so it's big enough. So this is currently on layer 1, and I'm just going to lock it. First thing I'm going to do is create the brick pattern. So we need to kind of create some small bricks. So you don't have to make many of them, and I'm going to do that in a new layer. So I'm going to make, like, here's one, make them approximately the same size as it, make sure they don't have an outline, and I'm just going to zoom in, and I'm duplicating, duplicate, grab them, duplicate, offset, take all of them again and duplicate. That's probably enough. And now I'm just going to color them. So use the pipette and grab as many as you want. If you do many of these, you create more variation. Less of these, you create less variation. So it depends how much time you want to spend on this. And that will do. So now we've created our kind of brick pattern, and we're going to go to Object, Pattern, Make, and what this will do is it will create like the brick pattern like this. And first things first, I'm just going to take these and fill in the edges. Just make sure you leave a little gap, and same thing there. Most of these things will snap to the edges, so it makes it pretty easy. That will do. And then take this, copy it. I'm just pressing drag and option, and I use this one. And there we go, it's all tessellated. And then grab the whole lot and then scale it that way. And then we have like the gaps between it. And then the final thing is I am going to create a background for it. So take the overall thing and put this, and I'm going to right click, arrange, send it to back, and then I will color that with a suitable color, but not that. And make sure it's the fill, and I'm going to color that with that. That looks pretty good to me. And then when you're done, you press done. So now I've created a pattern. I'll show you what we do with that. So we can delete these, we don't need these anymore. And then I'm going to create a shape that covers here. So it's going to be all the way up to there, all the way to here. And then I'm going to fill it with a fill tool. It kind of, you can see that it sort of like repeats a bit, but it doesn't matter, we won't really notice it. Okay. So I'm just going to hide that, and I'm going to create another layer. And this layer, I'm going to create the windows. Windows are pretty easy, and we only need to create one because we're going to duplicate it. Okay. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to create the window frames. So use a square. Again, we're going to choose a different color, and so we're not going to use the fill. So I'm just going to grab it, and then we are going to take the middle frame. And then we use V, put it over the top of this one, and then in the make sure that you're on Window and Workspace Essentials, Essentials, and then when you go into Properties, you will see all of these things, and then we can delete that and grab that, duplicate it just by pressing Option. And then I'm going to create this one. This one should be relatively straightforward. So I'm going to create that. Remember, use the snapping guides to help you. I'm going to use the pen tool, but I'm going to kind of snap that off here so that I can use it. I'm going to add one there. We've got that tool again to make these kind of wobbly, wavy lines. And use the white arrow tool to bring it to the top. And then we end up with this kind of arch, and we've basically created it. And it's not exact, but it doesn't need to be. And then just scale it in. like that, and then again we use this and then we duplicate it. Done. This whole thing needs a kind of a bit of a background for it, so we're going to create that as well. In fact, I'm not, because I'm going to be lazy and just scale it up to the edge of this and here and all the way up to there. That will do, and then scale that down to there and leave a little bit of a gap. So if we turn off our bottom layer, we can see we've kind of created this. This is okay. And all of these things I'm going to give like a little bit of an outline, and it'll kind of make them look better, and it'll fill in the gaps in between and stuff like that. So we've got that, which is good. So now I'm going to create the window panes. Window panes are pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is, using the white, the black arrow will select the whole object. The white arrow will select individual components. So I'm going to grab the middle of this, and then I'm going to copy and paste. And so now we've got a separate object, and I will use that to do something else, and we're going to do the same with this. Grab the middle one, and then copy, paste. Okay, so now we've got these two objects, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn these into window panes. So we're going to need the swatches, so bring those up. Because we're going to use those for colouring, and then what I'm going to use here is on the side you've got all of these tools that will do things for you, and we need to find the scissors, which is underneath the eraser thing, and I'm going to use the knife. And the knife, what you can do is you can chop up objects like that, easy peasy. And then what I'm going to do is take this one, and I'm going to take, in fact, all of these objects, and I'm going to get rid of the outline, and we're just going to change the fill. So this one and this one we're going to make blue, and then this one and this one we will make a darker blue, and then we end up with a window. Pick this, move it here, option, move it. Do the same thing with this. We're going to keep the same rough angle as of it and use the knife tool. That will do. Grab all these objects. In fact, just drag around it, it's a bit easier. And take away the fill, and then do the same thing. Turn that one blue. Nuts. Near the middle. And this one blue, and this one a dark blue. Take the whole lot and then just move it into place, and then we've kind of created the window. I'm just going to create the little ledge here. Don't have to be super exact, but this one is good. I'm going to give it an outline, and so I'm going to use the pipette again, and I'm going to grab this shape, and what it will do is it will grab the outline and the middle, and then the fill I'm going to use this color, so that will be cool, and then I'll put the outline on again. Okay, and I think I used this outline. Okay, or did I? No, I think I used black. Okay. So that's created that bit, and now I'm going to create these. So these are going to be a bit trickier, so I'm going to create this thing first. That's sort of like the centerpiece. That will do. And then I'm going to create the bricks that go around. So those are going to be a bit tricky, but I'm going to try and make them with a block. So I'm going to create like that, and then I'm going to use this to grab the color and bring back the outline. Okay, so now I've got this, and what this needs to do is it needs to kind of go round a little bit. So this is we're gonna have to do like some kind of little bit of I'm going to use this thing called transform each, and what it does is it kind of rotates it like a little bit, and then what we can do is if we preview it, we can show what it's going to do. It's going to sort of do that, so it's going to move it like 4 pixels across, and it's going to rotate it 3, and we're going to copy it, and then what we can do is object transform again, so it kind of does like a little rotation on all of them at the same time, and then we can kind of create that sort of look to it. And I'm not really super happy with that, so I'm going to do this by hand. So I'm going to use the pen tool again. I'm going to grab here, do a bend, grab here, bend, grab here and here, and that will do. And that's going to work for my bricks. And then I'm just going to use this tool to just draw them, because I think that the previous one looked a bit messy. And remember to deselect each time. Okay, and that lot. I'm going to grab it with the, and then I'm going to Control G and turn it into a group, and then copy it and then flip it across. Just position these how you want. Okay, so that's the window done. So this whole lot, I'm just going to group it, just so it's easy to deal with. And then I can take this and just copy the whole thing. And then I've created that. It doesn't matter if it lines up with a photo or not, because all we want it to do is look okay on our artwork. So then we've got that. If we look at this, this has got a very, very similar kind of thing going on. So I'm just going to copy that. And I'm going to take some creative license with this. I'm going to just sort of ungroup the whole thing. Take this and move this down. And then I'm just pressing Option to keep it even. And now it's got, you can see it's got these little door things here. So I'm going to create those just using this. I'm going to use the pipette to kind of copy the style. And then grab it and just create these two sort of door things. And that's done. Okay, so next up I'm just going to look at the, so turn this on, and I can see I've basically created that middle floor, and now I'm going to quickly create this one down here. So again, I'm going to use the pipette to kind of color a style. Grab this, I'm going to really quickly sort of sketch these in before I start breaking this up into layers. That will do. And this needs to come to the front. This one I'm going to duplicate again. I'm just using the Option key. That, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another one down here. I'll just shape it. And these ones I'm just going to shape to fit. but these ones have got a different colour, so I'm just going to pick that colour there and then go back with the outline and move these into shape. Place. I'm going to shift select these and use the pipette again so it keeps the colour. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the same thing for the windows here. Remember to kind of turn it off so you make sure your artwork is relatively even. And quickly I'm just going to finish off the middle bit because there's something I noticed, which is these bits. And I'm going to make them the same as these. I'm just going to copy them. And I'm going to take all of these bits and send to the back. And then I'm just going to make these little square bits. Send that to the back. Take both, copy them, and then turn that on, and there we go. That's that middle bit done. Okay, so now I'm just going to do the storefront. It's going to be pretty easy. I'm going to sort of know what we're doing here. So I'm going to make that shape. This one is going to be the same color as these. I'm going to do another shape in the middle. I'll get it close enough. Delete it. Then these are going to be like these kind of things. I'll vaguely get there, and then if you press and do that and then press duplicate, it will power transform it and you'll end up with the whole thing. There we go. And then I'm going to take this, copy it over, oh, that's looking good. And I might actually, I'm not sure if I'll go for these at all, because these are all sort of boarded up. I might kind of end up going for these as the overall look. So I'm going to sort of grab that whole lot, but not this and not that. And copy the whole lot. Scale them to size. There we go. So that's the bottom floor done. Take this. That'll do. These windows look remarkably similar to these. So I'm going to take the whole lot and copy it, because I think that's everything. Yeah, it is. And I'm going to scale it down, move it across. Actually, I need to make the whole thing a bit thinner. That will do. Something like that. I'm going to copy the whole thing up because I'm a little bit lazy, and then this bit here looks a bit awkward, so I'm going to take all of this. And I'm thinking I might have to kind of redo this whole window a little bit because it looks a bit rubbish. So it's kind of got these thick bits here that don't look very good. So I'm going to sort of redraw this. And then I'm going to take this bit, just duplicate it and do that. Do that bit again. And then taking these bits, in there. Nice. So that's done. I mean, you obviously don't have to go to the detail that I'm going to, but I'm going to sort of make this, use this again, because I want to I'm reusing bits because it sort of makes life a bit easier. And it will make it more interesting to animate. That looks good. And then I'm just going to build this bit. And I'm going to just edit these slightly, because what I want to do is kind of create that kind of thing. Okay, and now I'm going to take the whole thing, duplicate it as close as you can. And then we're going to take these, power duplicate them, because we want them up there, and then what we're going to do is create the roof. I'm going to create the roof really simply. And the roof is going to be very much this colour, because it would take a bit long to make it. But I think I will have I'm going to have an attempt at this one to make this kind of pattern. So what I'm going to do is going to sort of make this, I'm going to rotate it around 45 degrees, copy it, grab them again, copy them. And what I want to do is I want to make a pattern again. So I'm going to go make, and you'll kind of get into this thing again. And you can see that what I'm getting is I'm trying to kind of create the tessellated pattern. And that is good enough. And it looks a bit rough, but that's okay. And then go done. And then take this, copy it. and then fill it with our new pattern. It should be in here somewhere. And then fill the outside with black. Take this and delete it. And then we hide the background and we see we've created the house. So I'm just going to save that. And just save it as an AI file wherever you want.